All right, we're back on the podcast, and I'm fired up for this episode. I've been looking forward to catching up with him. He's a current professional hockey player with the Anaheim Ducks, the biggest man rocket in the show today. ChaseDeLeo, Dels, welcome
You
on the
kill me.
podcast. How do you like that?
You kill me.
How
What's
do you
up,
like that?
baby? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, good to see you.
Good to see you. Been a minute.
It has been. Welcome home. How's summer been treating you?
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. It's there's definitely no place like home, that's for sure, especially when it's beautiful California. Don't think it's rained one day since I've been home, so catching up on some vitamin D that I missed last season
Right.
and feeling recharged and ready to go.
I love it, man. I know you've been skating with Matty Nieto. How's
Yeah.
the off season training been on and off the ice, especially with him?
Yeah. Yeah, he's awesome. He's such a hard worker and he's such a nice guy. He's so consistent with everything he does. Every day he shows up. I know I am expecting his best, and it's nice to have a guy like that in the summer to kind of train with and push each other every single day. So yeah, it's been awesome.
I love it, man. So before we get into Anaheim, I want to touch on this past year with the New Jersey Devils organization. You obviously you killed it, man. I followed you with Savvy.
Yeah,
How did it go last year, man? With just the whole year with the Utica Comets.
yeah, it was good. I think it was an interesting year. Um, Not sure. I didn't really have many expectations going into it. I kind of just wanted to take it one day at a time and let my hard work prevail. I just kept a positive attitude every day, even though the circumstances were kind of out of my control, whether I was up or down. And coming into a new organization, obviously you only get one first impression. So I wanted to have a great, strong training camp, and obviously it's kind of a new thing too, going into a brand new group of guys that wasn't super familiar with. I think you don't realize how different is the East Coast compared to the West Coast. You don't really cross paths with guys, whether you're in the minors or whether you're up as often. So it was all new arenas, all new travel, all new teams you're playing against, all new players you're playing against. So it was a whole new learning experience, and I was definitely up for the challenge. And I think overall it was a success. Obviously, I didn't get as many NHL games as I was hoping, but I think like I said, you got to control. You can control at the end of the day, and I felt I did that with the job I was given.
Yeah, I think the one thing I could see that you can adjust to is the weather because you're in
Yeah,
Winnipeg. Fucking cold,
yeah.
man.
It was almost like I was back in Winnipeg a little bit, but yeah, it was cold, and I had my dog with me the second
Right.
half. Once I kind of knew where I was going to be, and I think that he stepped outside and thought we might be back in Winnipeg because that's where I raised him. So I think he was a little shocked, as was I. But no, it was overall a great experience.
Your Frenchie's like, holy fuck, here we go again.
He's like, get me out of here.
Get me out of here. What the
No, he's
fuck, Dad?
dude, he's a trooper. He's been through a lot. He's traveled a ton, so he's a great companion, especially
Right.
when he needs the most.
You know, and something I noticed too is that you led the team with points, 56 points, if I'm correct. And you guys were first in the North Division. You guys had a hell of a season. How was it with all that? And I noticed that the stands really fill up over there too with the home games.
Yeah, it was awesome. We actually broke AHL record. We went 13-0 to start the season, which has never been done before, and it was pretty cool. For me personally, having Kevin Deneen as the head coach for Utica. Obviously, I was familiar with him before in San Diego, prior the past couple seasons. So he knew what to expect from me, and I knew what to expect from him. And I helped drive the bus as much as possible. And like I said, we had an unbelievable start to the season, and didn't have too much adversity throughout the year. We had a great young team, and got to play alongside Holt and Fabian Zetterlin, and with my buddy AJ Greer. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff out of your control, but it's fun coming to the rink every day when your team's winning, and you get to be with a couple of your buddies. So I think that I just kind of took it and ran with it. Obviously, I wanted to be up a lot more in New Jersey. That's my main goal. But with that being said, I think you kind of just got to work with what's given to you, and just stay hungry no matter what, and not lose that hope at the end of the day.
Right. And it's just another solid year in the books from what I see. You know, you did your job again. Let's transition to Anaheim. I want to know how the deal went down. I kind of want to give a different behind the scenes point of view for the fans out there, any Ducks fan as well. How did it go down? Did you and your agent reach out to Anaheim showing interest in signing, or did the organization say, "Hey, what do you think? Let's go round two"?
Yeah, no, that's a great question, and I think even for me, being this is going to be my ninth year pro, it's a valid question because I feel like I'm still freaking learning the ins and outs of how contracts get negotiated or how teams approach you or your agent. So, yeah, obviously, after the year that I had last year, obviously, I think it's nice to when you have the numbers that you can kind of have a little bit more leverage than you have before. So we had that, and I also hired a new agency, Claude Lemieux. So he kind of took over and obviously kept me in the loop with everything. But yeah, I think as the season winds down and there's a little bit of a lapse, I think if everybody kind of takes a break once playoffs is over, and then yeah, I think the phones just kind of start ringing, and you hope to have as many options as possible. Obviously, the more the better. But obviously, in the back of your mind, I mean, there's no place like home. It's what a 1 in 32 chance now you get to play for the team you grew up rooting for and dreaming to play for. So if that's an option, I mean, I think it's definitely a no brainer.
It's refreshing to come back to an organization you're familiar with. But the awesome part is that you get to play in front of your family and friends again, right?
Yeah.
So how does that feel? How does it feel to come back and to be able to do that?
Yeah, no, I say you can't put a price on something like that. Is being fortunate enough to be close with family and friends, and for me, my animals are huge for me, and to be able to help out my family. Obviously, they're busy with work, so when I'm home, I'm able to help out at the barn, scooping up shit and filling up water buckets and helping feed whenever I can. So. Yeah, it's definitely you can't beat that. Obviously, with your buddies in attendance and your family getting to play in front of them. I mean, I left home at 15 years old. I moved to Portland. They were only able to come to a handful of games, and then I get drafted by Winnipeg, which is obviously across the map. So people don't realize, I think, that your family doesn't get to watch you in person as much as they would think. Obviously, they're tuning into AHL TV if the feed is not buffering the entire game.
Right.
They can pick out who I am, and so yeah, like you said, it's definitely a unique and special opportunity, and just want to make the most of it.
No, no, definitely, and that's it's exciting to just be maybe on Bally Sports instead, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, right,
exactly.
baby.
Yeah,
So,
that would
so,
be
so
nice. Yeah,
yeah. So I believe there's plenty of opportunity to make the roster with the Ducks. You're familiar with some of the guys. You played with Trevor Zegers, Jamie Drysdale. How nice is it to come back to a team where you played with these guys and to just have a shot?
yeah, it's huge. It's a big difference maker. I think I don't want to say a percentage, but a lot of the game is mental, and I think it helps obviously being as comfortable as possible and familiar with those guys. Obviously, spend some time in the American League with Jonesy, Terry, Mahura, Benoit. Yeah, like you said, Zegras, Carrick. You go down the list. I pretty much spent time with all these guys, and they've put the time in as well. So I want to make Anaheim great again. Obviously, like how they used to be when we'd go to all the games and be in the playoffs. And every single game was exciting and a nail biter. And whether I'm up in Anaheim at the start or in San Diego, I'm willing to work my way onto that roster. And like I said, make the team the same it was when we grew up watching them.
No doubt, and the great thing is, I mean, if you do spend a little time in San Diego this year, you're like a vet, you're like a leader, right? These young guys will lean on you to kind of show them the way, the ropes, and how special is that to like know you have that kind of that spot to help out?
Yeah, I think that's a big thing. I think last year I kind of started to realize, even though I was only 25, turning 26, that
Yeah,
I was kind of referred to as the veteran guy or the older guy in the group, where you realize pretty much a lot of the guys around you are 19, 20, 21, 22. Where before, I think when I first started in Manitoba when I was 19, I think I had guys on my team that are 34 years old, 35 years old, 32 years old. And you could really learn a lot from those guys. So yeah, it's definitely a little weird being considered as the older veteran guy, but no, it's awesome, and I think it's a compliment. Obviously, you put a lot of time in, you play a lot of games, a lot of playoffs, a lot of losses, just so many years of experience that obviously you don't know until you go through. So if I'm down in San Diego, obviously I'm gonna help out the young guys as much as possible and try to let my work show them what it takes. And Just got to hope that they follow. And then obviously in Anaheim, nothing's ever given to you. So every day is a tryout, and I know that by now, and I'm willing to give it my all.
Right, and you know you're familiar with it, like I said, down in San Diego, and you know your role, right? But I know where you want to be. You want to be with Anaheim. You know half the guys. You just mentioned it. You know half the guys have already played with them, and that's nice to have. You know, I want to bring something up. I want to bring a former teammate out with you, a friend, Jacob Megna. Megs reached out through text and he said, you know, I wanted to ask a question. I wanted to ask a question to Dells. This is not from CG, by the way. So we got to bring something up. He says you got to bring up the Gucci loafer collection. So how's that working out for you?
Well,
So thoughtful.
Those are retired in Utica, that's for damn sure. No Gucci loafers going on in the snow.
So thoughtful, Megs.
That's funny. That's a valid question. Well, he's a GQ model himself. He's got the perfect family going. So
Right?
that's a funny question. But no, I think anywhere over 70, 75 degrees, the loafers are an all go. Socks optional. No socks.
No socks. I love that. So thoughtful of him. No, you do. You have great taste. You're all dialed in, baby.
Thank
you. You know, something I noticed too was that you, Nieto, Savvy, you just ran a fundraiser with cancer. You did a skate at Anaheim Ice. How did that all go? This was like 2 weeks ago or a week ago. How did it all go with you guys? That's great. Giving back.
Yeah, no, it was unbelievable. For the first time doing it, Tyler Maxwell got it fired up, and it's just such an important cause. Mimi Humanik, a family friend of mine, has been battling breast cancer now for a number of years and still continuing the fight. So we will never know, hopefully, obviously, what they are going through on a day-to-day basis. It's a constant battle. It's just a good reminder for me personally, if I'm having a tough day or tough workout or whatever it is, it's really not that hard compared to what other people are going through on a day-to-day basis. So it was definitely an awesome game. A lot of people came out, and like you said, being with Scotty Savage, Nieto, Emerson Edom, multiple guys out there, obviously, that are the definition of California hockey. So it was nice to be a part of it for sure.
No, it is, and it's so important to give back. I think that's when you have that platform, man. It's huge. You know.
Yeah, and I'd also like to add, actually, sorry, Coach Mark Blair, another. He was my coach growing up. He's battling brain cancer right now. So he was actually there in person and got to be on the bench with all of his scar and everything. So shout out to him as well, obviously, for being a part of it. Made it that much more special. So just wanted to say that.
No, that's good. I'm glad you did that, and we're thinking of him. So,
yeah.
You know, the NHL playoffs this year, I always like to bring this up. I mean, I keep talking about it. It was a great year, a great postseason. You know, with what went down, the teams and all that. Were you watching by chance? And if you did, let me know what you think. But you know, did any of your buddies play in the postseason that you were keeping an eye on?
Yeah, I think I played World Juniors with a few guys. JT Comfer won the cup, and obviously Josh Manson won the cup as well. And I've been skating with him the past few days, and anytime I see him, I say, the champ is here, champ is here. It's obviously the best thing in sports, and hats off to him. He's a hard worker, and he deserves it. And he knows what it takes. He's a warrior. He's willing to go to those hard areas and block shots and do whatever it takes. So you can learn a lot from a guy like that as well. So yeah, it's definitely the best time of the year to watch sports. It was so fun. Looking forward to putting those games on, something to get through the day, and then just make it to watch that game. Obviously, we all want to be out there competing, and hopefully this year or the next year we can get back at it.
No doubt, no doubt. And I think there is a bright future with Anaheim, and you guys could get there, no doubt. Who did you think was going to win the cup, though? Like, if you had to guess, like looking at it, like what did you think?
It's tough to say. Honestly, personally, I thought Colorado was probably going to win it the past couple of years. The last time I got called up was at the Honda Center. We played against the Avalanche, and I was actually playing center. And I just remember being in the D zone, and it was just like freaking NASCAR was going around the whole zone. Somebody was always moving. They pretty much had 5 forwards out there at all times. So I think it was just a matter of time, and I wasn't surprised when I saw them lift the cup.
It's like a fucking circus with those guys. And that's what I said. Talking to Savvy about that, I'm like, Tampa didn't know what to do. Granted, they did have some injuries. They were tired. Look how many times they went to the finals and playoffs. But, like, it's like dude, like Colorado was like it was just like it was a joke almost. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, it's tough to make excuses everywhere. You play is something different, whether it's the fans or the weather or the climate. But I think being in Colorado and of playing there in the past, I think maybe the altitude played a bit of a factor. I think it does make a difference. I think I just watched the UFC, and they were in Salt Lake City, Utah, and the fighters were saying that they had to go there a certain period of time just to adapt, just to give themselves a chance because it really does make a difference. And maybe that played a part of it, but I mean, there's no excuses at the end of the day.
Right. Something I want to bring up too with Anaheim is the fact that this is a new chapter for you going into it. You got this 2 year deal. I think this is such a beautiful time in your career. I really think so. This is like go time, man. I think this is a huge opportunity. You wanted something from before. You wanted to get there and play on the roster, play full time with Anaheim. And I think it's like, okay, here's the second shot. New management, new faces. How refreshing is it to have like Pat Verbeek, the coaching staff, Dallas Eakins, these guys, count on you and to bring you back in?
Yeah, it's exciting. And to say I'm ready is an understatement. I felt I was ready the last time I was here during COVID. Played a full year with Trevor Zegras and Sam Carrick. Those are my line mates. So you can see what Zegras and Sammy are doing now at the next level for Anaheim. So it's only a matter of time. Every person has their path. Some take longer than others. Some are grittier than others. But at the end of the day, the will is there. And definitely, like you said, it's like a fresh start without it being a complete fresh start. So doesn't get any better than that. And still, at the end of the day, I've learned by now that nothing's ever given to you. I'm ready to earn everything. Like I said, whether I'm up or down, just want to be as positive as possible. Bring that energy to the rink every day, and just enjoy life, man. Life's too freaking short to be stressed and worried all the time.
You show that day in, night out, how hard you worked, and you come from a family that works their asses off. I mean, you guys are just you're a blue collar family, right? You know how to get the shit done, and I believe every year you've done what you've had to do. I preach that every time I talk to you. I'm like, you did great. You're fucking doing what you have to do. Sorry, I mean, I'm getting a little excited on the podcast right now.
I love it. I
But
appreciate
it's like,
it.
you know what I mean? So I think this is a big year coming up, big 2 years for you. But, when you signed the deal, did any of the boys reach out? You talked to any of the guys after you signed and whatnot? I want to hear about, what happened.
Yeah, I think that's honestly like probably the coolest part. I mean, the hockey obviously is what we all work for and what we've done since we were 4 years old. But the friendships you make along the way, I think it just doesn't compare. I mean, those hard practices, the tough losses, the overtime wins, the just the grinds that you go through on a day-to-day basis throughout the season with those guys, it just doesn't match. So yeah, I think that was probably it was almost immediate as soon as I signed. Obviously, Zegras, Mahura, Jonesy, Terry, all these guys go down the list. I think that's the most special part. And at the end of the day, I think, like I was saying in New Jersey, sometimes the mental part of it gets you really locked down. Sometimes you think you're only going through the tough times and a lot of stuff that's out of your control. But at the end of the day, you're with your boys every day at the rink. They're going through the same shit. So it's just a good reminder and makes it that much better when you have close friends on the team and you're going to put on a show with every night.
I was on mute. Yeah, see that shit? It's your family, man. It's your family almost, right? You're familiar with them, and it's like to do what you love with your buddies is incredible, right?
Yeah,
Fucking
exactly.
Z with
Yeah.
them. So what was Z saying to you?
Oh, nothing. He's just like I said, he's got that energy.
He does.
He makes every day at the rink enjoyable. It honestly is tough to consider what we do a job.
Right.
Obviously we're pretty blessed and fortunate to go to the rink every day. We have to go to the rink every day and hang out
Yeah.
with our buddies and play a sport that we've done our whole lives. And obviously there's a lot of hard work that goes into it. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, at the end of the day, it really is the same thing we've been doing our entire life. So now we're just getting paid for it, and we get to put on a show. We're almost like entertainers. I felt obviously being called up, and if I'm not playing, I'm up in the press box watching. I want to see the most exciting things possible, like Zegers obviously behind the net doing Michigan, just all those things that we do as a kid, and then you get to the next level, and people are almost scared to try it or just kind of told not to. Just play along the lines to where it's honestly that's the best part of the game. That's what I want to see. If I'm not playing and I'm watching, I want to see the fancy cool shit. Obviously, there's a time and a place for it, but he knows when to do it. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of that and hopefully being part of more of it.
I agree with you. I think everyone's like the people who are old school. It's like enough already. We want to grow.
Yeah,
The NHL loves Z because he's growing the game. He's doing things that you don't see often, like you said, and kids are going to start playing. It's the revenue is going to go higher. There's so many pros to it, and I'm just happy that this kid's like, your buddy's comfortable and doing what
yeah,
he's doing.
absolutely. As he should be, and I think it's no disrespect to the game, and he obviously has his teammates that if another team isn't happy with what he's doing, we're going to stick up for him. So I think at the end of the day, that's what the game needs, and it's exciting to see.
The violent gentleman.
Yeah,
That's
shout
what
out
it
to
is.
Violent
Shout
Gentlemen,
out
my
to
boy.
shout out, yeah, that's right. So okay, so you're back. This is a great opportunity, and I'm excited for you, man. What's the mindset going into training camp? What do you want to do right away? One day at a time, one shift at a time. What's your plan going forward into it?
I think just do me. By now, I think I've been through enough training camps, been through enough games. I know what it takes. I know what I need to do. So, this is as cool, calm, and collected I've felt going into a training camp. And like I said, I think it's just that experience now. A lot of the ups and downs and a lot of adversity that I've overcome. So, I'm feeling pretty unfazed at this point and just ready to rock and be the difference maker I know I can be.
And you really like you've learned how to manage the ups and downs, right? You learn how to stay even keel, trying to get to where you want to be. You haven't given up, and I love that about you, man. You're not giving up at all. So,
I
listen,
appreciate it.
I'm excited for you. I think you're going to do great. I think you're gonna honestly get a lot of more playing time up in Anaheim with the new faces in the management, the new faces with the players, everything, all the above. So, good luck this year, man. I can't wait to watch you, and I think you're going to have a bright future with these 2 years.
Thank you, brother. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and always thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Loving the new pods. Shout out to the new pod, baby.
That's
Let's
right,
go.
baby. Let's go.
And no, I love talking to you always, and love
Sure.
listening and watching to who you have on. So keep
Absolutely.
it going, and wishing the best success to you as well.
Absolutely, man. We'll go get him, baby. All right.
Thank you,
All
brother. I
right, man.
appreciate it.
Thanks for jumping on. It means a lot.
Yeah, thanks for having me,
All
man.
right. We'll talk soon.
All right,
All right.
cheers.
Bye bye.